You're listening to Humans in Tech. Our podcast explores today's most transformative technology and the trends of tomorrow, bringing together the brightest minds in and outside of our industry. We unpack what's new in physical access, identity verification, cybersecurity, and IoT ecosystems. We reach beyond the physical world, discuss our digital transformation as a species, and dive into the emerging phygital experience. Join us on our journey as we discover just how connected the future will be and how we will fit into that picture. Your host is Lee Dow, VP of Global Marketing at Identiv.
Welcome. Thanks for tuning in. Today we're joined by Christian Lackner, Segment Manager of Smart Products, Authentication, and IoT Security at NXP Semiconductors. Also joining us, Dr. Manfred Mueller, COO and GM of Identity at Identiv, and Amir Khoshniyati, VP and GM of Transponders at Identiv. So glad for the gang to be all here today. Thanks for joining us. NXP and Identiv have been collaborating for a very long time. Manfred, can you kick us off with some background on the relationship?
Sure, absolutely. And I'm really happy to have Christian on this call because he and I go back a long, long time. The relationship with NXP certainly is going to be 2 decades. At least we have also joined the NFC forum in the about 2005 or 2006. Since then, we have started to really work very, very closely with NXP. We have been utilizing a lot of their great products in numerous projects so far. Both companies had a lot of joint trade show and other events where we were demonstrating and exhibiting our joint activities and solutions that we came up with. In general, I mean, we have always been a very, very close ally. They are usually consulting us when next generation ICs are under development. They consult us with regard to features, functionalities to be added going forward. And we are, in many cases, some of the first ones that provide NFC tags or RFID labels and such, either for their customers or for joint demo kits. So it's a really, really close relationship that we're having. Other than that, I always describe NXP as our enhanced sales force. We have lots of joint projects that we are driving together. And that's also the reason why we have had a lot of buzz created over the last few years and so on. And again, that's why I'm really happy to have Christian on this call.
Wonderful. Christian, let's take a minute to talk about your latest innovation in the smart, secure product space, the new NXP NTAG Semiconductors 22X DNA chip device. What are the differentiators here?
Yeah, thank you very much. Maybe first of all, thanks a lot, Manfred, as well, appreciating as well the whole collaboration here. And it's a real big honor for me to be here today, talking about our newest product introduction that we're bringing to the market together with Identiv. Yes, so with the NTAG 22X DNA, we continue our success story in the secure NFC tags area, which was initiated first by the NTAG 424 DNA. And while the NTAG 424 DNA was primarily aiming to protect luxury goods with a long life cycle from counterfeits, with the 22X DNA, we can even address now fast-moving goods which have a shorter life cycle. It's addressing as well kind of optimization here from protecting from counterfeits. But the real innovative thing here is the ability of passive capacitive sensing, which opens a myriad of new applications in medical, personal healthcare, home appliances, and brand protection. The key points of the product are it's security certified by common criteria process, which is a similar process which is used to attest the security of bank cards and government ID cards, such as passports. It has a dual temper mode detection, so that the one thing is kind of like where you can detect whether a wire security seal is broken, which is kind of open closed. But the innovative thing is with the dual mode, we have now a second way of measuring things. That's a capacitive measurement. You can think of this of kind of 2 opposite metal plates, which if they change their position to each other or the condition between them would be changing, like humidity, pressure on a material, you would be able to measure any status in between it. It's not just a digital thing of 0 or 1, there's a lot of granularity in between, which allows them to measure, for example, fill level detection. And all that one is happening without its own power, so it's not battery powered. So the whole IC solution, as well known for the NFC tags, it's powered by the field. For example, it would be driven by NFC smartphone, which at the same time would be then as well kind of the user interface for interaction with the content information that is associated to such a tag.
Wonderful. Identiv just launched NFC Tag designs based on NXP's new NTAG 22X DNA chip series for anti-counterfeiting, tamper detection, and battery-less condition sensing. Amir, which markets are poised for the most growth in status detection and sensing solutions?
This technology is really building on years and years of demand and different capabilities that the market has been asking for. And again, the Identiv NXP relationship that we alluded to earlier is built on a strategic partnership to really look at the best-in-class ICs and the best-in-class antenna designs coming together to really meet that market demand. And historically, what we've seen is that accelerating out of COVID, pharma, healthcare, medical device applications are at an all-time high. So this is really a best-in-class synergy really around this capability being built upon the foundation of standard authentication. And as Christian alluded to, much more capabilities all built in within one IC. So you get the authentication, the tamper, and then you get really this capacitive sensing that's really built in. And it really positions very well across many of these use cases within pharma, healthcare, and medical devices. So it's a core focus for Identiv overall, but really it's convoluting many years of demand all in one for the best-in-class IC and antenna coming together to serve that industry.
With both of your comments, both Christian and Amir, it's really obvious that there's a lot more capability here with this solution. And of course, as we're moving into the future of just being more and more connected with IoT ecosystems, Christian, what does the future of that connected IoT ecosystems look like over the next few years?
Well, I think the growth just has started here, and I think the latest initiatives like Matter, which is the new standard for home automation connectivity for device certification. We do see the industry is driving from an early adoption to a mass market demand with a need for interoperability. And one thing is quite clear: in such a connected world, security and trust will become quickly a critical mandate as the impact of attacks and fraud will exponentially grow. So as such, we do see a double-digit growth in the secure authenticators and secure elements going forward in the years to come, and helping devices and consumers to securely interact within the IoT space. At NXP, we have set ourselves the vision to manage the complexity of security for our customers, to keep solution building at the easiest levels while maintaining still the highest level of security and trust. This starts with our contact and contactless authenticators, which from a bigger picture are connecting by interaction with the internet and need to create a safe transaction as well as building a level of trust as the product as we're talking here today. When we move then over fully fledged secure elements, which are securely managing the full life cycle in the IoT devices, which is including attestation, commissioning, key update, firmware update, and even putting a product end of life for all the IoT devices. And it finally ends in our portfolio as well with secure on-chip solutions for connectivity solutions with Bluetooth and Wi-Fi, and rounded off by the high-end secure application-specific and generic microcontrollers.
Manfred or Amir, anything you want to add to what Christian said?
Well, there's really not much to add because Christian is really the expert with regard to the feature sets and functionality. We just know that we have identified a range of industry verticals and applications that will be perfectly suited for this next generation NTAG 22X family, as much as we have already found homes for all of their other portfolio products. So from that point of view, we're really excited to see a big wave of business projects and opportunities coming across us.
How about you, Amir?
Absolutely. And I think Christian gave a really nice overview on the capability matrix and the level of depth behind it. And really, as we look at the future and where the products are going overall, they're going for more agility. So again, the capabilities of the chip, it's really bringing best-in-class authentication, best-in-class security that we're building in with the encryption. And then it's adding these added capabilities around tamper, moisture detection, capacitive sensing, all the capabilities we touched on earlier. But really, as we get to the next tier here, it's the data itself that's bringing the most value. We're creating all these digital objects through all these physical items and creating trigger points to really engage that data. So whatever capability set you really want to focus on, and now we're finding the best-in-class melting pot of all these capabilities, that's really where we're going to maximize the value. It's being able to digest the data and bring the consumers, whether it's in the healthcare realm or anywhere else within the medical devices, closer to the brands so they get best-in-class usage around the products and they get the assurance, because many of these are really built around compliancy. And when you get into this level of depth, you want to make sure that the compliancy is there, but that also at the same time, the brands are really aware of what their products are doing and they can maximize the usage behind it. So I would really base the value and where we're going around the data side. And as Christian also mentioned earlier, we're just at the beginning of the trajectory here. We're getting used to contactless technologies. These are the early stages. And as the adoption rates go up, that's what we anticipate that the data is going to go up with it, because we're going to get more and more usage behind these products in themselves.
Well, I'm sure, with the three of you being early adopters and now seeing, this drive to mass market demand, I'm sure that's got to be really exciting for all three of you. Christian, we ask everyone this question. Any additional closing thoughts on our technology-centric, hyper-connected world?
It might be not as visionary, but I was just thinking about it today. So today, a lot of people think connectivity that we have today is a little bit a burden, because it's using up your time that you have available. But I think really going then to hyperconnectivity, there might be the point where this is changing. So we are not just kind of spammed with all the social media, flood of media information, which is kind of useless. So things definitely, I think, become more intelligent, and with more connectivity, I just believe the future will be that we're getting back more time for ourselves, as kind of it will be much more flexibility how we interact in our future, in our professional world, but as well in a private environment. And therefore, I think the hyperconnectivity and the intelligence paired with the security in the Internet of Things will take a lot of things away from us that we have to take care of today, kind of manually interaction.
Well, if the vision of the future is that we get more time back for ourselves, I can definitely subscribe to that train of thought. It was really great to have all three of you on today. I always learn so much from each of you every time I sit down with you. Thanks again for calling in.
Thank you very much. And thanks, Amir.
Thank you for having us.
Smart, simple, single-use technology can put valuable time back in the hands of healthcare workers and around the world. Identiv's capacitive fill-level sensing tags are the first passive NFC-enabled sensing solution to monitor fill levels. Simply attach the tag to any cartridge, bottle, or liquid-filled container to sense the fill level. No external sensors or special equipment required. The tags can also sense if syringes or auto-injectors have been properly administered, empowering clinical trials, patient compliance, and telemedicine applications. Learn more at identiv.com. Physical security, identity verification, the IoT. The hyperconnectivity of our lives will only grow more pervasive. As technology becomes more automated and experiences more augmented, it's up to us to preserve our humanity and use new tools and trends for good. The only question is, are we up for the challenge?